Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I am the Dependent Fanatic. Hello everybody. If you are new, if you are back, hello, welcome back. Comment down below what you think on this video after it's all said and done. Like, share, subscribe as always, but first, it's Georgia's day, isn't it? They had their spring game today. And it was not televised like the Ohio State one was on Fox. I watched that, and everyone says, oh, Ohio State's defense is so amazing. Yeah, they had a couple interceptions, but maybe it's just that their offense sucks. So, a lot to dissect here from the spring games. I have not gotten into that yet and really thought about how Ohio State did. That was televised. Georgia, I have no clue who your best players are, but I'm going to try and dissect them right here and now. What does your team look like going into 2024? Also, as a bird just flew into the garage and left, in Georgia, the Masters is going on right now, a golf tournament, if you don't know, probably the preeminent golf tournament. And I used to be a golfer in high school, actually. Fun fact. And pretty good. I was honorable mention in my conference one year. As a freshman and a sophomore, we won league in both varsity and junior varsity. I was on both teams. And then I started chasing some tail instead of going to practice, and you know how it goes. But got kicked off that team, but here we go. A lot of things happening in Georgia right now, so I thought it'd be the perfect time to go through my Georgia roster breakdown. On the docket here is the coaches. What do they look like? I'm sure all of you Georgia fans know them already and what they have done. But this is for Michigan fans and other fans, and even Georgia fans. And this is mostly about the players. Quarterback and offense will be next on the docket, and then defense, and then your schedule, and I'll talk about possible outcomes. Predictions come later. I've already done a deep dive on Texas previously, which is entering your conference this season, and will be playing you this season. That is a question mark of a game for me. So I'm just going to put a question mark there for you as well. And then you have you got a pretty tough schedule. Question marks galore. So we'll break it all down. This is mostly about returning production and familiarity of a team. So here we go. Enough of the preamble. Here we are. Where are we at? I am not a professional. I am a drywaller. I do drywall for a living, so keep that in mind. But I am a fanatic, and that's why I'm talking about Georgia football right now. When I should be watching the hockey national championship, probably. Go BC, because they beat my Wolverines a couple nights ago, and I took a couple days to get over that, but here we are. Kirby Smart is your head coach. Smart started at Georgia as an assistant in 1999, a graduate assistant. At Valdosta State, he was DB coach and then DC. He was an assistant under Bobby Bowden at FSU, and then Smart received his master's degree at Florida State. In 2004, he was DB coach at LSU for Nick Saban. And in 2005, he was running back coach for Georgia. He followed Nick Saban to the NFL as a safeties coach, and then I believe at Miami, and then went to Alabama as an assistant coach in 2008. But he was DC at Alabama. So he eventually made it to D.C. there under Kirby Smart at Alabama. In 2009, Smart got the Broyles Award for the best assistant coach in the nation. In 2013, he was the highest paid defensive coordinator after winning a national championship, well, multiple, and went to Georgia in 2015 as your 26th head coach in history. A great head coach. Studied under the best. All right, at DC, Glenn Schumann is your defensive coordinator. Started as an student assistant under Saban. Sound familiar? At Alabama in 2008. Smart was there at this time, and like Smart, Schumann graduated during his time as a student assistant in 2011. He was then a graduate assistant. In 2014, he became director of football operations. Schumann was Kirby Smart's first hire as Georgia head coach and has been here since as defensive coordinator. Great minds think alike, and they have stuck together. All right, offensive side. Offensive coordinator is Mike Bobo. He's back. He started at Georgia as a grad assistant before he went to Jacksonville State as quarterback coach in 1999, I believe. He returned to Georgia as quarterback coach and was promoted to OC in 2007 under Mark Richt. Bobo took the head coach job at Colorado State in 2014 and went 28-35 in 5 years. So not such a good decision there, but he was at South Carolina for a couple of years at offensive coordinator and quarterback coach until he went to Auburn in the same roles in 2021. Then in 2022, Mike Bobo rejoined you at Georgia as an analyst. Then he was offensive coordinator last season in 2023. So it's been a year removed since you've won a national title. That's right. Michigan won the last one. I wish we could have beat you in that Rose Bowl. Why'd you lose to Alabama? Anyway, I digress. We'll talk about your depth chart now here, and we're starting with the offense. Quarterback, Carsen Beck. It's a redshirt senior now. Been here a while. He was 302 for 417 passes last season. That's a 72% clip. He was 3,941 yards passing. That's a 9.5 average per completion. He had 24 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. A good starting point for Georgia to come back. Quarterback, I have been told, is the most important position on the team. And I kind of disagree, but I kind of agree. Units, if you're talking units, it's the offensive line. It's like, yeah, a singular position. No one handles the ball more. He is the most important. So you have that in place already. Gunnar Stockton is a redshirt sophomore who is going to be the backup. He went 12-19 for last year for 63%, 148 yards, 7.8 average, 2 touchdowns and 1 interception in backup duty. All right, running back. There's a cache of them. Speaking of cache, there's one of them's named Cash. All right. Anyway, Trevor Etienne, a junior, is a transfer from Florida, who I believe was at Clemson before that. This guy gets around, but he is good. 131 carries for Florida last season, 753 rushing yards, 5.7 average. He had 8 touchdowns. Also out of the backfield, he can catch the ball. 172 receiving yards last season and 1 receiving touchdown. And then Branson Robinson was listed as your backup. Now, the starters and the backup and that come from ourlads.com. And they last produced something March 3rd. I'm sure tomorrow after the spring game, you will have an updated roster, but I'm talking about production here. So what comes back that produced for you from last season? And Branson Robinson did not play last season in 2023. But in 2022, he had 68 carries for 330 yards, 4.9 average, and 3 touchdowns. I'm not sure if that's because of injury or he was passed up. I'm sure he was just passed up because of Kendall Milton and the other guy that went pro for you guys. All these players going pro. I get it. I get it. Michigan's sending a lot too. So also at running back, Cash Jones, redshirt sophomore, 22 carries, 161 yards. That's a 7.3 average and 1 touchdown. Andrew Paul, redshirt sophomore, 29 carries, 129 yards, 4.4 average, 1 touchdown. Lenneth Whitehead is a redshirt freshman, and I don't bring up freshmen lightly, but he played. He played. 32 carries for 207 yards, 6.5 average, and 2 rushing touchdowns. And then Roderick Robinson II is another redshirt freshman that have stayed their turn. So the running back room here for Georgia looking good. Redshirt freshman, 24 carries, 196 yards, 8.2 average, and 2 rushing touchdowns. So the offensive line is where you probably get all your ratings, the star ratings. Everyone has you top 5. You have 4 returning offensive linemen that all these players are going to be able to play behind, and that matters. Ernest Green at left tackle, Ernest Green the third, redshirt sophomore, was a starter last season. He's back. At left guard, Dylan Fairchild, redshirt junior. He's back as a starter from last season. Center, Jared Wilson, is the only non-starter from last season, but he is a redshirt junior. He waited his turn. He's ready to go. Right guard, Tate Ratledge, is a redshirt senior, ready to go. Started last season. And then right tackle, Xavier Truss, redshirt senior. So experience, depth, talent. 4 out of 5 starters are coming back. And you have a few backups. But, that is a concerning thing. Not too many experienced players are coming back for you, but that's where your great recruiting classes come into effect, right? The unproven. You got the best of the unproven. All right. You and Alabama Alabama of old under Saban, who knows how that's going to go forward, but you got some backups at offensive linemen. I can list 3 for you. Left tackle, backup Monroe Freeling as a sophomore. Center, Drew Bobo as a redshirt sophomore. And right guard, Micah Morris is a redshirt junior that have been there and have been developed in Kirby Smart's program. Let's talk defense, shall we? We'll start with the defensive end. You got a couple weird positions like Texas does. You got the Mac and the money at linebacker. You got the star at nickel or whatever. So, but we'll dive into this, and I will try to dissect who your starters will be. I think, man, it's tough. The production coming back at defensive end is Tyrion Ingram Dawkins, a redshirt junior. 8 tackles, 1 sack, and 1 forced fumble. His backup is Gabe Harris, a sophomore, 9 tackles and 1 forced fumble. At nose tackle, Nazir Stackhouse is a senior, 24 tackles, 2 sacks, 1 interception, and 1 pass breakup. I think that guy's starting for you. Kristen Miller, a redshirt sophomore, 14 tackles and 1 sack, backs him up. And then the third backup at nose tackle is Jamal Jarrett, sophomore, who had 6 tackles. So you have production, but like I said, you lost a lot of people. But you have been developing behind the people. So at D tackle, Warren Brinson is a senior. 21 tackles, 2 sacks, 1 pass breakup. I would be willing to bet he's one of your starters. And then at the jack, you have Michael Williams as a junior. 16 tackles, 4.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery, and 2 pass breakups. He's your other starter on the defensive line here. All right. Chaz Chambliss backs him up, though, at the jack. A senior, 20 tackles, 1 interception. So there is a little bit of depth here. A little bit of depth here. At the MAC is Smale Munden Jr., who is a senior this season. 68 tackles, 3 sacks, 1 pass breakup. He's your starter. Raylan Wilson backs him up, 15 tackles. Troy Bowles, also a sophomore, as Raylan Wilson is, 5 tackles. at the money position. C.J. Allen is a sophomore. 41 tackles for you last season. 1 sack and 2 pass breakups. I would suggest that he is a starter. And then backing him up as a junior, Jalen Walker. 20 tackles, 5 sacks, and 1 forced fumble. Not too shabby. He will be rotated in. At the star, Jonel Aguero is your only guy. A sophomore, 7 tackles, 1 pass breakup. That's what was listed on ourlads.com. You let me know if they are wrong and if there should be another guy at the star position. But the stats all come from the worldwide leader in sports, ESPN, from last season. So that is what I'm going by here. He's your guy. He's the only one that has production back. Well, no matter, I don't list freshmen. They're not proven. No matter how highly rated they are, and I know you have a lot of huge number 1 classes stacked up here for a while, they don't matter until they prove themselves is kind of the point of these breakdowns, these videos, and we'll see if they do. We'll see if they do. Hey, I don't do a video on someone unless I think they're a national title contender, one of these breakdowns anyway. This series. You're the 4th one in this series, and it's deserved. At cornerback, Julian Humphrey is a redshirt sophomore. He had 11 tackles and 1 pass breakup last season. And then that's pretty much your depth there, though. At right cornerback, you got Dalen Everett, a junior, 29 tackles, 1 interception, 5 pass breakups. But that's pretty much all the production you have there coming back. At free safety, Dan Jackson is a redshirt senior. He had 20 tackles, 1 forced fumble, 1 interception, and 1 pass breakup. So he is a starter. Your 2 corners that I had listed, probably your favorites to start. I didn't see the spring game, so I don't know. Maybe some of them young guys did step up and take their spot. At free safety also, Ja'Cory Thomas, a junior, had 9 tackles last season. And then at strong safety, you have Malachi Starks, a junior, who had 52 tackles last season, 3 interceptions, and 7 pass breakups. He is a starter. And backing him up as a senior, David Daniel Sisavan, who had 10 tackles and 1 pass breakup last season. So great starters here and there, not so much in other places that have been proven. And where's it at? I have to be honest, after going through this, I expected more production back. Even though you lost a lot of NFL talent, like Michigan and others did, you better hope the top classes you've stacked pay off. And all the players that have production returning step up. Of the 4 teams I've done this deep dive on, which is, like I said, Ohio State, Oregon, Texas, and now Georgia. Georgia has the most transfers out by far to go along with all the NFL graduate players. So huge turnover. Can you gel? Can you field a team that is a team that has chemistry, cohesiveness, and a willing to win? After the 2 national titles you had in a row, it's going to be kind of a difficult task, I think, for Kirby Smart at this point. Well, let's look at the schedule. Schedule in 2024, August 31st, at the end of August, neutral site game. Is it really, though? Because it's in Atlanta. You'll play Clemson. That is a question mark game. I think it's a toss-up. I really do. Tennessee Tech is a win for you. At Kentucky is a win for you. And then you get your first bye before you go to Alabama, and that is a question mark. Even though they lost a lot, their coach and everything. Listen, it's not... I'm a Michigan fan, so I can appreciate what they have gone through. You can still maintain a culture even though you lost a lot. So that is a question mark for me for Georgia at Alabama. Auburn, you get them right after Alabama. At home, but that's question marks. A rivalry game for you. Mississippi State's a win. At Texas is a question mark, like I said previously. And then you get your second bye. And you get a neutral site game and a cocktail party versus Florida and Jacksonville. I think you win that game. And then at Ole Miss is a question mark. Lane Kiffin and his third year now there. I know he's losing players like Judkins to Ohio State. I don't understand how that happened, but they're going to be a tough team to beat at Mississippi. So it's just a question mark. I'm not saying you're going to win or lose. Massachusetts and Georgia Tech at home to end the season are 2 wins. So there are 5 question marks for you this season. But you'll win at least one of those 5. At least one of those 5. 8-4 is the floor for Georgia. Georgia's ceiling. By the way, I did a text video. I thought 8-4 was Texas's floor. I thought their ceiling was 12-0 though. Georgia, I think your ceiling is probably 11-1. I have a feeling you'll lose to Alabama, Texas, or Mississippi. All of them games are on the road. You'll lose at least one of those, or it might be, who knows, Auburn, might be Clemson, week 1, Florida. You never know. Odds are most teams are going to win one game, but Texas just had a team of production coming back where I was like, you can win them all, just like Michigan last season. So stay tuned. I have not done Michigan yet. That will come later in the season, but right now, unless someone can comment on a team that they want me to deep dive on, I'm going to start gearing towards predictions, which will make sense for every team. Over-unders, win totals for every team and the power conferences, plus Notre Dame and Oregon State and the other one. So stay tuned for all of that. Hey, if I miss something, if you're a Georgia fan and you're like, hey, you missed this guy, put it in the comments and I will look it up and gladly appreciate you for correcting me. And like I said, like the video if you've been here this long. You might as well subscribe to the channel. I talk college football mostly year-round. Other sports are involved if it pertains to Michigan, but this is where we are right now on the Dependent Fanatic channel talking Georgia football. How will they do in your opinion? Let me know. A lot of people need to step up. They need youth to be pretty good, more so than any of these other national contenders, I would say. Thank you, everyone. And I always like to say, try to have a great day out there. No matter if it's been crap, just give yourself a smile, someone else a smile, and enjoy it. But as always, go blue in the end.